Well, I got some parts in the mail today. I'm not in a hurry on this. It's something doing. I can drive it and fix whatever as I go along. And eventually I will get it repainted. But I'm kind of hoarding up the parts ahead of time. One of the things I ordered was this stuff, which is the fender welting that goes between the fender and the body. Because the fenders on these are all removable. If you have a damaged fender, it isn't like on new cars where it's a big job to fix. These you just pop them off, pound them out, put them back on. Not a biggie. But this welting, you need to go between the fender and the body. Keeps the squeaks down and keeps the water doesn't get in there and start rusting. And that stuff's still available, but I was going to throw it in the trunk, and then I happened to notice I had this thing in here, and I thought, I bet people haven't seen one of these for a long time. Now, this one I have to do some fixing on because the beading that runs around the outside is kind of falling apart. But these are the old bug shields that everybody used to run these on the front of the car. It covered the whole grill, just left the headlights up above. But it was, like I said, when I was a kid, there were grasshoppers, a lot of grasshoppers. Partly, I think, because at that time there was a lot more wheat being grown. Now, everybody's doing the corn and soybean thing. But it used to be them grasshoppers, or some of them, they plug up your radiator. So you had to run a screen like that in late summer into fall. And then in winter, they had almost the identical sort of thing, but was completely covered that would keep the cold air from blowing on the radiator. I got one of them around here too. But like I say, these fenders are easily removed. That's why that one fender that is showing up, it's got rust on it. That has been replaced at one time. And whoever replaced it didn't do a very good job of priming it. Because normally these things it's heavy steel, and then they put heavy primer underneath. So they're pretty tough. They don't often rust out except for right behind the front wheel. There's a kind of a channel, and they all rusted out there. Now, here you see some rust on this, but this actually isn't. Here again is an accessory. The real bumper ends like right here. They put extra covers on them. I've seen all kinds of exotic add-ons to the bumpers. In fact, I had 147 that I had bought one time for parts, because this isn't the first one I've owned. And it had these tall pillar things that were in front. It looked like something you used for mooring a ship. But it was just give you a little extra protection. But it looked odd. But that can actually come off there, and they're still available, all those covers. And this little gravel shield has got a little rust on it. But the main body on this thing is pretty damn solid. They made them solid. Now, somebody asked about running unleaded gas. Well, you don't want to run the alcohol stuff. That is a problem. But like in my M37, I run I can run the 91 octane non-alcohol, but I usually buy that just for the chance odds, but I can get 87 octane. These things are really low compression, like 6.5 to 1. Later they started bumping the compression up in cars, getting up 8, 9, 10 to 1, but these are low compression motors, like a 90 horsepower. In fact, the valve springs on these things are so weak you can actually push them down with your hand. They're not a high-speed, high-power motor. But like I say about running, you don't want to run alcohol because the carburetor would screw it up. Though there isn't a lot of plastic in there, it might hurt the fuel pump diaphragm. I avoid it. Like I can buy locally. I can buy the 87 octane non-alcohol regular. That's fine for this. Like I say, low compression, and then the timing, like the M37 too, it runs very much retarded. They're like I say, they're not a high performance. They were just a transport. So the octane isn't that big a deal. They were made to run on any kind of fuel. Really, they really aren't that fussy. You can run into problems with some of that. The lead in the fuel helped cushion the valve seats. That when the valve slapped down on the seat, it would kind of give it a little bit of cushion. Well, like I say, these are so weak that it really doesn't matter. The valve springs on this don't hit it that hard. And it helps to lubricate the valve stem to guide. That's where, like I was working at the Harley shop when they switched to this alcohol fuel, this unleaded stuff. And we had a problem because the Harleys were all running steel guides, and we ended up having to redo hundreds of motorcycles, take the steel guides out and put cast iron guides in. Well, on these it's never been a problem. I've never had, if you had a bad guide, it would stick in a hurry because them springs are so weak. But it's really not a problem. I wouldn't run the alcohol stuff in there, but as long as you're running non-alcohol, it's perfectly fine. Later, it was a problem. When they started bumping the compression up on them, then you needed higher octane. In fact, at one time I owned a Fiat Spider, and if you didn't run premium in that thing, it would barely run. It had to have a high octane. These, they really don't care.